Hey, what's up, guys? I wanted to just give my experience, how it's been on the Steam Deck in Dark Age of Camelot on the Eden private server. And it's actually been surprisingly great. So I have a few fights here queued up. A couple of them are against wardens, which are like standstills, which is kind of funny. And a couple other easier kind of B-roll footage. And basically you can see, I mean, I'm recording, this is on the Steam Deck, and I'm recording via OBS. I'm getting like 60 frames a second or higher, just in general. I mean, it's an old ass game, right? It came out in '01, so it's not that taxing. The CPU's got a quad core 3.6 gigahertz, 16 gigs of RAM that's kind of shared between memory and VRAM. So it's got plenty of what you need. I mean, it's got a strong CPU. This game runs primarily off of CPU, which is kind of nice. And yeah, you don't really need much more than this to play this game. It only starts to get a little bit, just very, very slightly noticeably worse in frame rates when you're recording via OBS, right? So what I ended up doing was putting the recording on OBS. The canvas was 1080p, and then I downscaled it to 720 and then 30 frames per second. And then I kind of tweaked the settings where, the quality is just fine here for this game. You don't really need more than 30 frames per second. And I'm able to record all the videos on this channel just on the Steam Deck on Linux, which is pretty amazing for it being basically the size of a Switch, a little bit bigger than a Switch. So that's pretty neat. So that's kind of what I've been really enjoying. I got a wireless keyboard on it. I got I've got a little ghetto extension for the, for the USB that I can put a mouse on, like a proper MMO mouse. And so it's a Corsair mouse, and it doesn't actually work with Linux, but I was able to hard program it on my Windows PC, and then see, this is the standstill right here. Nothing's gonna happen. So anyways, I basically hard coded it so that I could just plug it into anything, and it'll just use keyboard inputs. So yeah, that's how I got that all set up. So it plays just like it would if I was on my PC with all the functionality. Getting really good frame rates. I got, all the settings are up. I'm running it at 1080p, and yeah, getting over 60 frames, even with the OBS on. So I have the buffer recording on OBS, and even then, I never am in a place where I feel like, oh, I wish I was on my PC. I wish I had better frames. I wish of this. I will say that the one thing I've experienced that's been tougher, has been the just because it's on Linux, and because the setup is a little bit, unorthodox. I got it going into a USB hub into my TV. It's just a little bit more, it'll crash sometimes. I mean, let's say I've been playing, I got way too much time to this game, but I got probably, 10 days or so played, 300 hours or so. And I've probably crashed to desktop because of the Steam Deck. I didn't in the first couple months, but later on I did have an out of memory issue, and it's only happened about 3 times, but it has been a little bit annoying. I looked up the Discord for Steam Deck, and it seems to be a common problem that other people are having with other games, and so it looks to be a setting that needs to be tweaked in Lutris, which is how I'm running this game through, through Lutris. And you basically just have to, put in a launch option, which I can share here, if anybody has that issue. Another standstill here with the Warden. This is pretty funny. Now that I have some different swaps, I think I could actually beat the Warden in this kind of a fight. I'm using like a slower weapon, and I'm making a lot of mistakes, but they're still the hardest class to play against for a Friar. Anyways, yeah, so, you know, it's clean. It's good. This is all in desktop mode with, like I said, a wireless keyboard going into a hub into the TV. And then I've used it in handheld mode as well, and I used that on the last private server, Atlas. And so that was a lot of fun. In handheld mode, you have to really relearn how to play this game, but it's very possible, I'd say, with a caster, with something that doesn't require like a ton of buttons. You know, if there's maybe like 8 to 10 buttons max that you need to use in the middle of a fight, then the controller works really well. Once you get into something like a Fry or a Minstrel, like that's going to be difficult to be competitive with a handheld. But it runs smooth as silk on the handheld. You know, it's like locked 60 frames. You know, playing it from your bed is pretty freaking awesome. So never thought I'd be able to play Dark Age on a fucking Game Boy, but it's pretty sweet. So anyways, that's been my experience. And if you have any questions, just hit me up in the comments, and we will, you know, go over it and talk about what any issues I've been running into are. But it's been a pretty great replacement for my main computer, and yeah, I'm not going back.